Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This meeting is called to order. While Mr. Troman's coming up here so I can ask him a few questions, do want to welcome a new commissioner representing employers, Commissioner Joe Esparza. Welcome, Commissioner Esparza.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Troman, has anyone signed up for public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Les Truman, General Counsel. We have one individual here to present public comment. Ms. Kirshner.
Hello. Is it fine if I just start?
Please.
Perfect. Good morning. My name is Christy Kirshner, and I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer at Brazosport Independent School District, located in the Gulf Coast Workforce Region. In honor of National Apprenticeship Week and as an apprenticeship ambassador by the U.S. Department of Labor, it is my honor to be here this morning on behalf of BISD and the apprentices in our district to publicly thank you and express my sincere gratitude for the invaluable support that you have extended to our first of its kind K-12 teacher apprenticeship program. While education is one of the newest apprenticeable occupations approved by the DOL and identified both as a high skill and high wage job in our state, your commitment to fostering solutions that address equity and access barriers for citizens in Texas have played a pivotal role in the success of our initiative to address our staffing shortages for teachers. With intentional efforts to challenge the status quo, Brazosport ISD established a low-cost, no-cost apprenticeship model to create a talent pipeline with multiple entry points, or what we call on-ramps, that attract and meet apprentices where they are in their journey. The program includes scaffolded competency-based training aligned to INTAS standards and provide high-quality learning experiences while they are also seeking degree completion and their teacher certification. This opportunity, in contrast to current strategies, has proven to expand the talent pipeline and addresses equity and access barriers for individuals seeking a career to become a high-quality teacher. As the first and only employer-led K-12 teacher apprenticeship program in Texas, we have the opportunity to understand and solve for the diverse and sometimes really complex needs of our apprentices that have historically impacted their persistence. As the RAP sponsor, we are best positioned to be the opportunity multiplier, providing solutions for apprentices and serving as recruiters for our partners in higher education. Since our launch in July of 2022, over 300 applicants have applied to the apprenticeship program at BISD, and we currently serve 80 apprentices and have, after the first year, had 23 completers in year one to become certified teachers. Registered apprenticeships create an environment that organically remove barriers to entry, but also create a pathway for individuals from underrepresented communities to become highly qualified in their profession. Because of our partnership with Workforce Development, 76% of our apprentices have access to WIOA funding, expansion grants, and other resources to support their journey, and is opening pathways to economic mobility for them and their families. Additionally, the apprentices in our program are representative of the demographics of the communities we serve as a school district. I'm excited to share that we have started a fellowship with 5 other school districts who will join the established registered apprenticeship program as new employer partners. The RAP is forecasting approximately 200 apprentices to be actively engaged in both college and on-the-job training as soon as August of 2024. As a public employer, we still have work to do to address our own challenges and barriers, just as the nursing industry did during the pandemic. However, I'm confident that our work ahead in partnership with you will continue to be barrier busting and may even create new opportunities for public employers. Once again, thank you for your unwavering support. We look forward to continuing our collaborative efforts and making a lasting and positive contribution to the education sector and workforce development strategies in our great state. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troman. Good morning, Ms. Miller.
Good morning, sir.
Nothing on agenda item 3.
Correct.
How about agenda item 4?
No cases.
5,
No, sir.
6.
No pulled for additional discussion.
All right, agenda item 7. Something's going to stick there.
All right, wage claims. Yes, sir. None pulled for additional discussion, but you should have received the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 45.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 45.
I concur with Chairman's motion, except for those cases on which I am dissenting. as reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 45.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting is reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 45.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move then to agenda item A, consideration of unemployment insurance cases on docket 45. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case number 2930591, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant CA appeal should be deemed timely. The claimant was provided credible and persuasive testimony that she did not receive the AT decision mailed on September 8th of 2022, which is sufficient evidence to refute the presumption of a receipt. The claimant called the commission to inquire about the AT decision and discovered that it had already been mailed. The claimant requested the AT decision to be remailed to her, and thereafter she filed her appeal. Timely CA appeal and resubmit for a summary of the merits.
The claimant's appeal to the commission should be dismissed as late. Although the claimant alleged mail delivery issues as a basis for non-delivery of the AT decision, the decision in question was mailed well after the time frame that USPS was facing mail delivery constraints from the pandemic. Furthermore, since the claimant did not provide credible testimony about non-receipt, and because the AT decision at issue was sent to the claimant's correct address of record, we should dismiss the claimant's appeal to the commission as late and leave the underlying AT decision in full force and effect.
Timely commission appeal, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Case number 3178624, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant received correspondence from the commission via electronic correspondence, and her appeal was due during the time when the UBS system was not allowing the filing of appeals for determination related to a past claim year. This known issue constituted commission misinformation, and the claimant's late appeal should be deemed timely. Additionally, prior to the issuance of the determination, the claimant submitted documentation to the commission, which shows that the payments she received that led to the determination at issue in this case were non-reportable supplemental unemployment benefits. Therefore, the determination was incorrect on its face, and the claimant did not receive benefits to which she was not entitled. Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, no earnings adjustment.
We should affirm the appeal tribunal decision. Although the claimant opened the initial determination within the applicable timeframe, the claimant's appeal was filed well after the appeal deadline. Since there are no good cause exceptions to the timeliness rules, the claimant's appeal should be dismissed as late, and we do not have jurisdiction to consider the underlying merits. As such, we should affirm the AT decision, untimely claimant appeal, earnings adjustment, overpayment.
Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, resubmit.
We have majority vote that the appeal is timely, not a majority vote yet on the merits. And the chairman has voted to resubmit the case on the merits. So
I'll agree with the chair.
thank you, sir. And this case will be resubmitted.
Thank you.
Case number 3225538, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was approved for a PUA benefits and filed claims through the benefit week ending April 10th of 2021. Almost a year and a half after the claimant stopped filing payment requests, the commission requested the claimant provide proof of her employment. The claimant was unaware that she still needed to check her electronic correspondence inbox in March of 2022. However, once the claimant became aware of the request for information on April 25th of 2022, she uploaded her 2020 W-2 form containing the requested information or requested employment information that same day. States have the ability to extend the response deadline in cases where good cause has been established. Here, the claimant has established good cause to extend the deadline to provide proof of her employment. Reverse the AT, PUA eligible beginning 12/27 of 20, no overpayment.
We should affirm the appeal tribunal decision. The evidence shows that the claimant did not submit proof of her employment as required by the federal law under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program amendments in the Continued Assistance Act. Texas Workforce Commission had sent the claimant instructions on her electronic correspondence to submit the documentation by April 14th of 2022, but she did not send the needed documents until over a week later. Having failed to satisfy the documentation requirement under federal law, she became ineligible for PUA benefits as of the date the requirement took effect, and the benefits she received became an overpayment. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. The claimant was ineligible for pandemic unemployment assistance beginning 12/27/20, overpayment of $3,105.
PUA eligible, no overpayment.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3225565, Commissioner Trevino.
Since the PUA ineligibility and overpayment determinations were reversed in case 3225538, the waiver determination should be voided. Void waiver.
The appeal tribunal decision is not supportable. In order to qualify for waiver of the overpayment, the claimant must show that she was not at fault in creating the overpayment, and that repayment of the overpayment would be against equity and good cause conscious. Generally, creation of an overpayment involves taking an action that, at the time of the action and while receiving benefits, the claimant either knows or should know is in violation of a program requirement. In this case, the claimant was not advised of the need to submit documentation until about a year after she had stopped filing for benefits, and she did submit the documents within a reasonable time after learning of the requirement. Similarly, since the claimant had been out of claim status for close to a year, the fact that she was no longer regularly checking her email correspondence is relevant to whether a waiver of the overpayment should be granted. Accordingly, we should reverse the AT decision. The claimant was eligible for a waiver of the pandemic unemployment assistance overpayment under the unusual circumstances of this case.
Void the waiver determination.
The waiver will be voided. You had voted to grant waiver. Do you wish to dissent?
I concur.
You concur. Okay, unanimous decision. Thank you.
Case number 3236639, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the appeal decision, or excuse me, we should reverse the appeal tribunal decision. The employer has submitted a screenshot of the protest it prepared for Texas Workforce Commission, which is dated during the period for a timely response. In addition to this document, the employer's witness testified that he clicked the submit button at the time that he prepared the timely protest. The draft response document in conjunction with the employer's testimony established that the employer submitted a timely response to the notice of the claim. We should reverse the AT decision, timely employer response, resubmit the case for merits testimony.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The commission mailed the notice to the employer's correct address, and the employer confirmed that they received it in a timely manner. The employer testified that they filed a timely protest that was not received by the commission, but failed to provide corroborating evidence that the protest was submitted in a timely manner as required by commission rules. Affirm the AT, untimely employer's protest.
Timely protest, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Case number 3349659, Commissioner Esparza.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I do not contest the good cause issue. Concerning the job separation, the claimant was terminated when she violated the employer's policy by mandating relationship with the employer's former client. Although the claimant alleges that she did not have any interaction with the client in her fact-finding statements taken closer in the time to the discharge, the claimant provided credible evidence that she did in fact maintain out of work contact with the client. Since the employer's policy prohibited employee-client relationships, and because the claimant was aware that even minimal social contact was prohibited due to the sensitive nature of the employer's work, the claimant mismanaged her position of employment. As such, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant established good cause for missing the AT1 hearing, misconduct, no charge back, sever adequate employer response.
The AT decision is not correct. The claimant established good cause for her failure to appear at AT1 hearing because she never received the hearing notice. Regarding the separation, the claimant presented credible and persuasive firsthand testimony denying the allegations of misconduct, and her testimony was corroborated by several witnesses. The employer failed to provide firsthand testimony or direct evidence to establish that the claimant engaged in actions that could be considered misconduct connected with the work, and therefore failed to meet their burden of proof. Reverse the AT, claimant established good cause for missing AT1, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
Claimant established good cause for AT1, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3364314, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be modified. The claimant was approved for a PUA benefits and filed claims through the benefit week ending June 26th of 2021, when the PUA program ended in Texas. At that time, the claimant believed that her interaction with the commission had been completed and she had no reason to continue to check her online inbox. It was not until several months later that the commission sent the claimant a notice to provide proof of employment. The commission's delay in sending this documentation to the claimant constituted commission misinformation, and the claimant's appeal to the later determinations should be deemed timely. While I do not contest that the claimant was not provided the required proof of employment and that she should be held ineligible to receive PUA benefits beginning 12/27/20, if the commission had sent this notification to the claimant in a timely manner, she had been advised that she had no longer eligible for these benefits. She may not have continued filing payments request and avoid overpayment. Because the overpayment was therefore caused by the commission's delay in notifying the claimant of the requirement to provide proof of employment, the overpayment waiver should be granted. Modify the AT, timely claimant appeal, ineligible for PUA benefits beginning 12/27/20, overpayment, grant waiver.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. The claimant filed a late appeal from the original determinations finding that she was ineligible for pandemic unemployment assistance beginning December 27th of 2020. That she had an overpayment of $5,382 and denying a waiver of the overpayment. She did not offer any evidence that an exception to the appeal deadline should apply. Concerning the underlying determinations, the evidence shows that the claimant did not submit proof of her employment as required by federal law under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program amendments in the Continued Assistance Act. TWC had sent the claimant instructions in her electronic correspondence to submit the documentation by November 26th of 2021, but she did not send the needed documents at that time or at any time thereafter. Having failed to satisfy the documentation requirement under federal law, she became ineligible for PUA benefits as of the date the requirement took effect, and the benefits she received became an overpayment. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. The claimant filed a late appeal. The claimant was ineligible for PUA assistance beginning 12/27/20, overpayment of $5,382, overpayment waiver denied.
Untimely claimant appeal. PUA not eligible beginning 12/27/2020, overpayment waiver denied.
I'm sorry, did you say denied? Yes, sir.
Waiver, yeah,
Overpayment in effect, waiver denied.
correct.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3385601, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be modified. I agree that the claimant established good cause for a failure to appear at AT1. However, regarding the job separation, the claimant was discharged because she provided notice to the employer of her absence due to medical issues via text message rather than phone call. The claimant communicated with her employer via text message during her employment, and when she provided the notice, she was not warned that it was insufficient. The employer's argument that the claimant was asked to call her supervisor after texting in her notice is not persuasive, and the supervisor's text message only instructed the claimant to call if she had a minute. The employer has failed to establish that the claimant's actions rose to the level of misconduct connected with the work. Modify the AT. Claimant established good cause for AT1. No misconduct.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. First, I did not contest the good cause issue. As to the job separation, the final incident consisted of the claimant a probationary employee failing to adhere to employer policy attendance, to the employer's attendance policy. Specifically, the claimant failed to give proper notice of an absence. Moreover, the employer's probationary employee policy states that progressive discipline would generally not be followed, and a review of the employee's record would be made when making disciplinary decisions. In addition, the employer's discharge and discipline policy states that discharge can result from failure to follow policies. Since the claimant violated the employer's policy, her actions constitute misconduct connected with work. We should therefore affirm the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for her non-appearance misconduct.
Claimant established good cause for AT1 misconduct.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Case number 3387261, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the appeal decision. The appeal tribunal decision. The claimant was discharged when he engaged in verbal altercation with a coworker. Although the claimant alleged that he was not the aggressor, the record illustrates that the claimant started the altercation when he berated his coworker and threatened physical harm. Since the claimant was aware of the employer's zero tolerance policy prohibiting aggressive or violent behavior, and because multiple witness statements substantiated the employer's testimony about the claimant's inappropriate behavior, the claimant's conduct was mismanagement of his position of employment and misconduct connected with work. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
The AT decision is correct. The employer discharged the claimant due to a verbal altercation with a coworker. However, the employer failed to provide firsthand testimony regarding the incident, and the claimant testified that the other employee was the aggressor and the first person to use profanity during the altercation. Furthermore, there is no evidence that the employer disciplined the other employee for his role in the altercation. Therefore, the employer did not meet its burden of showing that the claimant committed misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
No misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3491687, Commissioner Esparza.
We should affirm the appeal tribunal decision. At the time that he resigned, the claimant was working at full-time position. His job was not in jeopardy, and he had not been notified of any imminent layoff. The claimant's decision to quit was based on his belief that the monetary value of his pension would decrease due to market interest rates. This was a personal reason for quitting and not related to the terms or conditions of the claimant's employment. Thus, because the claimant quit to maximize his pension payout while continuing work was still available, he quit without good cause connected with the work. We should affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant resigned to avoid losing 27% of his total pension. Prior commission precedents have held that the claimant has good cause connected with the work for resigning when their accrued benefits have been reduced without their consent. The claimant's job length was uncertain, and he did not want to risk continuing to work for the employer and receive a reduction in his pension, which he had accrued over the past 26 years working with the company, to then be laid off due to a lack of work. Therefore, the claimant had good cause connected with the work for quitting. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving, chargeback.
Voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 3527247, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not correct. The claimant denied knowledge that he was involved in an accident, which would require him to report his employer's safety department. The claimant's sworn testimony that he saw no physical damage to his truck and was therefore unaware that he was involved in an accident should be given greater weight than the employer's secondhand testimony. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
The appeal tribunal decision should be modified. The greater weight of the credible evidence in this case established that the claimant failed to comply with the employer safety policy, which required all accidents to be reported to the employer safety department. In addition, the employer's policy states that violations are subject to automatic discharge. As such, the claimant mismanaged his position of employment and was discharged for work-connected misconduct. We should therefore modify the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3533051, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant testified that he was discharged for attendance issues due to his failure to report to work on 1/26/23. However, the claimant testified he had been told by his employer when he called in on 1/25/23 not to report back to work until Monday, January 30th of 2023. The employer did not appear at the hearing to offer testimony regarding why the claimant was discharged. Since the employer told the claimant not to report to work on 1/26/23, his failure to report to work that day cannot be considered misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback. If my fellow commissioners do not agree with the decision or that should be reversed, I would agree to rehear the case in order to allow the claimant to provide text messages to support his testimony, which he was unable to provide on the day of the hearing.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. The claimant missed multiple days of work due to car troubles, which amounts to personal reasons for not attending his scheduled shifts. In addition, the employer's response to the notice of claim states the claimant was warned that his frequent absences could lead to termination. As such, claimant's continued attendance issues constituted work-connected misconduct. We should therefore affirm the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3542493, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not correct. The claimant provided the only firsthand testimony and testified that he was discharged by his supervisor due to scanning errors, but he had never been properly trained on that task. The employer provided only hearsay testimony to support their argument that the claimant resigned and did not allege that the claimant engaged in any misconduct connected with the work. Therefore, the weight of the evidence established that the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
We should affirm the appeal tribunal decision. While on a final warning for his reliability in his work, the claimant supervisor met with the claimant to discuss errors with the scanning of inventory. Because the claimant continued to make mistakes after prior warning, he was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback.
Rehear to better develop the record and obtain evidence of previous warnings.
We have not yet achieved a majority vote.
I'll agree with the chair.
We will rehear the case. Thank you, sir.
Case number 3602842, Commissioner Sparsa.
We should affirm the appeal tribunal decision. First, I do not dispute the good cause finding. Concerning the job separation, the claimant submitted 4 weeks' notice of her resignation. The employer accepted the resignation early and paid the claimant for all but a week and a half of the notice period. This is the equivalent to the claimant being on paid leave for 2 weeks and then having the employer accept her resignation with less than 2 weeks from her expected last day of work. Because the employer effectively accepted the claimant's resignation within 2 weeks or less from the last day of the notice period, under commission precedent, the nature of the job separation does not change. The claimant's resignation remains a resignation. As to whether the claimant had good cause to quit, while the claimant complained of several issues, the evidence established that 1, the issues had been investigated and resolved, or 2, the claimant had failed to provide the employer a reasonable opportunity to address them. Thus, the claimant quit without good cause connected with work. We should affirm the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for the non-appearance, voluntary leaving.
The AT decision should be modified. I agree that the claimant established good cause for missing AT1 hearing due to a family emergency regarding her minor child. Regarding the separation, the claimant provided more than a 2-week notice of her resignation, which the employer accepted early. By accepting the resignation early, the nature of the separation changed to a discharge, and the burden of proof shifted to the employer to establish misconduct. The employer testified that the claimant's resignation was accepted early due to operational needs, which is not misconduct. Modify the AT, claimant established good cause for missing The second AT1 hearing, no misconduct.
Claimant established good cause for AT1, voluntary leaving.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir. And that was the last case pulled for additional discussion on docket 45. You should have received the UI short form dissent list for docket 45. I'm sorry, one moment. If I could just clarify the vote on the 10th case, which is case number 3491687.
3, 4, what is it?
3491687.
Mhm.
And my records show the claimant is disqualified with the chairman and Commissioner Esparza voting that there was no good cause to quit. The employer is protected from charge. And I believe I mistakenly took a short form dissent. Since the claimant is disqualified, the short form dissent would come from the employer, the commissioner representing claimants or labor. Did you have a short form dissent to that, sir?
I believe I did, ma'am.
All right. Any other comments the commissioners would like to make on that case, just to make sure we're clear? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 45.
I concur with Chairman's motion, except for those cases on which I am dissenting as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 45.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting as reflected in the UI short form dissent list of docket 45.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving. And hope you get a little time off. This brings us to the end of agenda items 1 through 8. We'll take a short recess.
Yeah, you want to grab it? Different.
All right, this is agenda item 9, adoption of final rules for 40 Tech Chapter 810 Lone Star Workforce of the Future Fund.
Good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, Commissioner Esparza, welcome, and Mr. Serrano. For the record, I'm Colin Bradley with the Outreach and Employer Initiatives Division. Commissioners, before you today for your consideration and adoption are final rule amendments to Chapter 810 Lone Star Workforce of the Future Fund. In an open meeting on September 11th, 2023, the commission approved the proposed creation of Chapter 810 regarding the establishment of the Lone Star Workforce of the Future Fund grant program. The proposed rule amendments were published to the September 29th, 2023 issue of the Texas Register for a 30-day public comment period. Public comments were received. Staff, of course, reviewed and responded to those comments, and as a result, modified the proposed rules. However, the modifications to the proposed rules were minor and just meant to provide additional clarity. That being said, staff recommends adopting the creation of Chapter 810. Additionally, should the commission adopt these rules, staff requests the ability to make minor, non-substantive changes to the document in order to comply with the publication requirements of the Texas Register and the Office of the Secretary of State. This concludes my presentation and available to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
No.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the adoption of new 40 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 810, Lone Star Workforce of the Future Fund, as recommended today by staff.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 10, late refund penalty rate for career schools and colleges.
Good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, and Commissioners Esparza and Mr. Sarna. For the record, Carrie Ballast, Workforce Development Division. Texas Education Code 132.061E requires a career school or college to pay student refunds within a 60-day period. Failure to do so requires the career school or college to pay a penalty. Section 132.061 also requires that the Texas Workforce Commission annually establish a penalty at a level sufficient to act as a deterrent to the retention of those refunds. The current rate of 250% has proven to be effective in encouraging career schools and colleges to pay student refunds in the required timely manner. At this time, staff seeks direction on the establishment of the late refund penalty rate for calendar year 2024, requesting that it remain at the current annual rate of 250%. That concludes my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any comments or questions?
None here.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the career schools and college penalty rate for late refunds to students at the current annual rate of 250% for calendar year 2024, as recommended today by staff.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're unanimous and the motion carries.
Thank you.
This is item 11. We all combined state plan for program years 2024 through 2027.
Good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, Commissioner Esparza, and Mr. Sarna. For the record, I am Shirley Jones with the Workforce Development Division. Before you today is a draft of the combined state plan for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, covering program years 2024 through 2027. The plan outlines the state's four-year strategy for WIOA core programs, which include WIOA Adult, Dislocated Worker and Youth, Wagner Pizer Employment Service, including the Agricultural Outreach Plan, Adult Education and Literacy, and Vocational Rehabilitation, as well as one partner program, the Senior Community Service Employment Program. Staff is seeking approval to post the WIOA Combined State Plan for program years 2024 through 2027 for a 30-day public comment period. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
No questions.
Commissioners, so as we proceed to the motion, I'm going to be a no vote on this today. Clearly, staff's put a lot of effort into this. That's evident. I don't think the writing's where it needs to be. I don't think we're telling our story as best we can. And I think there might be some inconsistencies with the data in a couple of places. Certainly, I saw some inconsistencies in nomenclature and a little bit of inconsistencies with the strategic plan. It's got the comment period. I guess we could come back after that and amend it if we move forward today, but I just wanted you to know my position on that. That being said, is there a motion to consider?
Yes. I move that we approve the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Combined State Plan for program years 2024 through 2027 and for posting for a 30-day public comment period as recommended today by staff.
I'm going to vote with the chair on this.
All right. When is our next scheduled commission meeting, Mr. Truman?
December 5th.
December 5th is our next scheduled meeting.
Yes, sir.
I can have my notes to staff today. Just on the things that I was concerned about. I think that's 2 weeks from now. Is that right?
Yes, sir, but we have annual conference next week.
Yeah.
So I would propose the following.
Is there a
commission
meeting on the 12th?
I think that there is. Plus. Okay, all right. When do we need to get it to, Shirley, when do we need to get it to Secretary of State for posting?
March 4th.
March.
You said Secretary of State or
No, I mean, to post for comments.
one more time, I'm sorry. The public
Well,
comment period is 30 days.
30 days, beginning when, Joel?
Upon approval.
And for the record, Joel Mullins with Workforce Development. There's no specific requirement for when the public comment period has to happen. We just have to get the public comment period completed.
That's a federal requirement,
Yes, it's a federal requirement that we have the public comment.
but we don't have to go through the Texas Register. This is something TWC manages.
Correct. Yeah, so we can do it at whatever time is convenient for us. The only real deadline is that the Texas Workforce Investment Council has to approve it, and then it needs to go through the governor's office.
So
And-
I'm sorry to cut you off. The governor's statutory requirement to file this federally is when? In March?
The federal deadline is March
And
4th.
it's the governor's filing
Well, yes, we submit it on the governor's behalf.
okay.
Right.
But still somewhere contained in that, the TWC has to look at it as well.
Correct. And they moved their first quarter meeting up to February 16th, I believe, in order to get it through the governor's office before the March 4th deadline.
So we need to have our 30-day public comment period complete before the February meeting with enough time to address any comments that we might receive.
Correct. And then get final approval from you all. The TWC needs it from us by, I think, January 26th is what they were saying in order to make their meeting. I believe there's not currently a commission meeting scheduled in mid-January, but if we got one scheduled then
Well, Joel, for you, I would schedule a special meeting if we have to,
Oh.
but only for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you know.
Mr. Chairman, I think that we can bring this back up, not at the December 5th meeting, but the one after that, and still have adequate time to respond to public comment, present to the commission, get it to Texas Workforce Investment Council, and then through council to the governor's office by the
Okay.
required deadline.
Thank you.
So we'll bring it back on the commission meeting of the 12th for public posting for public comment.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Let's move to agenda item 12, board nominations.
Good morning, Courtney Arbor, Workforce Division. Today for your consideration, we have workforce board nominations for Workforce Solutions, many boards. Brazos Valley, Cameron County, Concho Valley, Deep East Texas, North Central Texas, Tarrant County, Golden Crescent, Greater Dallas, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio Grande Valley, Middle Rio Grande, Panhandle, Rural Cap, South Plains, and Texoma. We recommend approval of the nominations that you've been briefed on and that are included in your packet.
What's your question?
None here.
No questions.
Commissioner Esparza, I've been here a little over 4 years, 4.5. And at no time has Division Director Courtney Arbor ever done a board nomination motion. So this is a serious issue before us. I'm trying, like, I read the material, but I don't know which one of them she's focused on, but I just know it's serious that she showed up to do this today.
This is a serious matter,
It's a
Chairman.
very serious matter. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve local workforce development board member nominees presented today for the following workforce solutions: Brazos Valley, Cameron County, Concho Valley, Deep East Texas, North Central Texas, Tarrant County, Golden Crescent, Greater Dallas, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio Grande Valley, Middle Rio Grande, Panhandle, Rural Capital Area, South Plains, and Texoma.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're unanimous and the motion carries.
We do have a legislative update.
So I walked in, Mr. Cerna, and Michael Britt had a tie on, but like, more importantly, he had kind of a bounce in his step.
Still does.
Like it was some enthusiasm that I couldn't explain.
Perhaps he will.
And so here we are with a legislative report.
I couldn't let y'all go to the Thanksgiving holiday without having a legislative report. So good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, Commissioner Esparza, and Mr. Cerna. For the record, Michael Britt, Governmental Relations. Last Thursday, the U.S. Congress passed and the President signed HR 6363, the Further Continuing Appropriations and Other Extensions Act of 2024. Under this legislation, it funded some federal agencies until January 19th, 2024, and then funded the rest of the federal government until February 2nd, 2024. The U.S. Departments of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Education are all among the federal agencies whose funding is now continued until February 2nd, 2024. This concludes my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments?
None here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the Executive Director's report.
Well, two things. One, I've already mentioned the annual workforce conference is next week in Houston. There'll be several meetings going on prior to the conference start, but the conference officially begins at noon on or after lunch on Wednesday and runs through middle of the day on Friday. And then the last item is simply to wish the commissioners and the agency staff a happy Thanksgiving and the beginning of the holiday season. And that's all I have, sir.
Well, I'll wish you a happy Thanksgiving right back then. And then the big jamboree in Houston, big workforce. I call it the big annual meeting, the BAM. Man, it's actually it's a really good schedule this year. Commissioner Esparza got here just at the right time that he didn't have to plan a super session.
It's good timing.
Well, I have a super session that he can take over, and I've spoken to him about it, and I think he'll go up and introduce himself, and then he's asked me to still moderate that for him just this year.
Well, Mr. Cerna, I think that just shows a lot of ability and discretion on the part of Commissioner Esparza. Like it just might as well just start taking credit for your work from the beginning. Like the rest of us. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the meeting. It's going to be a good meeting. There's some great sessions. A couple of the keynote speakers I think are going to be really, really interesting, and it should be a good meeting. How many we're expecting? Does anybody know? I haven't heard.
I don't have an estimate yet, but I know that we had the host hotel, the conference hotel, the Marriott Marquis booked, and we're in an overflow hotel as well. So our conference planning staff has done an outstanding job juggling all that and getting meeting spaces and hotel rooms and everything else taken care of in 2 hotels. So it may be a large number again.
The Marriott Marquis has kind of a lazy river situation, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Truman, do we have, if the commissioners go to the lazy river, do we have to post that meeting? We're good. I hope it's heated. It's cold.
I would say it'd be cold.
Is there any other item of business that needs to come before the commission?
I just want to welcome Commissioner Esparza as well. And welcome aboard. It's going to be great working together. A great team. So want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving as well.
Chairman, if I may, thank you all, everybody. I want to say my first week here at the agency has been spectacular. I was able to meet with a lot of division heads who crammed a lot of information over at me, and I really appreciate that. I look forward to seeing everybody in Houston, and it's just as a thank you for just your dedication and your dedication and to your divisions and staff. I really appreciate the support that y'all have given me and the confidence too. But I'd like to invite everybody up for refreshments in the office. So yeah, come on up and ruin your lunch over a box of donuts and come and have a little meet and greet. So anytime after that. Thank y'all.
All right, well, welcome and thank you for throwing your own welcome.
There you go.
That's,
I like to party.
it's like a really tough precedent he's setting for.
I know.
I'm gonna start welcoming me every week.
Right.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn, and we're adjourned. Thank you.